Look at Romans at what we call motivational gifts. Now, it's my belief that every child of God has one of these 7 motivational gifts that we've been discussing. And then in addition, I believe that we also have another spiritual gift that accompanies that gift in order for us to be our unique individual. For instance, I talked a few weeks ago about service, the gift of service that's mentioned here, but that a lot of times, particularly ladies, have the gift of hospitality along with the gift of service. And that causes them to have a unique ministry that's different from other people. And so I think everyone has one of these motivational gifts. And so we've covered a big introduction. We've covered the gift of prophecy, the person who has the gift of a prophet and very low in the church. We talked about the gift of service. We talked about the gift of teaching. And today I'm going to skip the order, and we're going to go down and we're going to talk about the gift of leading, or of the ruler, or of the administrator. And I'll be using those 3 words interchangeably because that's really what the gift entails. It entails all those things. Some people will say, well, I'm just an administrator. In other words, I want to stay behind the scenes and organize things. But most of the time, that person also has the gift of leadership. It goes with them. And I'll tell you when that takes place, when that leadership will come out. And so our passage for the series is Romans chapter 12, verses 6 through 8. The Bible says, having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us, let us use them. Okay, about a third of you. And that's probably about the way it goes. A lot of there's only about a third that actually use their gift. You see, God wants you to serve. And He's given you the right tool to help you serve the way you can serve, not the way I serve or not the way this person serves, but the way you can serve. Let us use them. They're tools to build the kingdom of God with. And so let us use them. He said if it's prophecy, let us prophesy in proportion to our faith. Or if our gift is ministry, let us use it in our ministry. And that's just a word that means service. If we are a teacher, let's use it in our teaching. If we are an exhorter, an encourager, let us use it in our encouraging. And he who gives, do it with generosity and liberality. He who leads with diligence. And that's what we're talking about today. And then he who shows mercy with cheerfulness. And so God has gifted you with a motivational gift. Again, it's the lens from which you look through that determines life and ministry. It colors everything about how you look at life, and particularly how you look at the church. And so Romans 12:8 says, he who leads doth do it with diligence, with zeal, taking the responsibility seriously. And so let me give you a definition of the ruler, administrator, leader. And by the way, I put ruler, administrator, I'm hyphenating it, although it's actually not hyphenated. Just use those 2 words together. The definition of one is one who has, that God has equipped with an enabling and giftedness to accomplish large tasks and goals by organizing people and resources. It is one who facilitates, who organizes, who rules, leads, or supervises. And so I was thinking about this truth and how it plays out in our lives and how it plays out in Scripture many times. I wanted to look at Exodus chapter 18. This is not our actual biblical example, but I will show you how it affected somebody when someone actually exercised this gift. Exodus chapter 18, let me give you a little background. Jethro, not Bodine, not the brain surgeon, but some of you don't know what I'm talking about. I'm about the Beverly Hills. So Jethro is the father-in-law of Moses, and he comes to visit. Don't raise your hand, but don't you love it when the in-laws come to visit? And maybe you're like me. I had a father-in-law who could do anything. That's sometimes a little intimidating for a son-in-law. He could do anything, and he knew how to make things work, and his family knew that. His daughter knew that. And so that made it a little tough for me at times. But Jethro comes to visit, and Moses is leading the people of God, and he is spending all of his time, from early in the morning till late in the evening. He's hearing basically the complaints, the cases that the people of God had against one another. He hurt my feelings. He said I was stupid. Whatever. You know, the law cases. And so Moses is making judgment on who's right and who's wrong and what needs to be taking place. And so Jethro is observing all this, and we'll pick up our reading in verse 14, I believe it is, Exodus chapter 18. This is a little bit of a lengthy passage, but I'll try to cover it very quickly. When Moses, his father-in-law, saw all that Moses was doing for the people, he asked, "What are you really accomplishing here? Why are you trying to do this all alone while everyone stands around you from morning to evening?" He said, Moses replied, he said, "Because the people of God come to me to get a ruling from God. And when a dispute rises, they come to me, and I'm the one who settles the case between those quarreling parties. And I inform the people of God's decrees, and I give them His instructions." And Jethro said, "This is not good. You're going to wear yourself out." Remember, we're talking about millions of people. Probably 3 million people in the nation of Israel at that time. And they weren't like us, scattered around. They were all together, living in close proximity to one another. You don't want to wear yourself out. But notice the next few words there. And the people do. Can I give you the short version of this? Moses, you're doing this the hard way, and it's going to cost you, and it's costing them. Now, some of us, are you one of those people, you got your lumps because you always do it the hard way? Well, that was Moses. But Jethro observed the situation, and because Jethro had the gift of leadership, organization, ruling, administrating, he gave him some advice. And so he said to them, "Now listen to me, let me give you a word of advice. And God may meet with you. You should continue to be the people's representative before God, bringing their disputes to Him." But he said, "Teach the people God's decrees and give them His instructions and show them how to conduct their lives. But," verse 21, "but select from all the people some capable, honest men," in that day, men only. Today we use ladies as well, "who fear God and who hate bribes, they do what's right. Appoint them as leaders over groups of 1,000, 100, 50, and 10. In other words, not everybody can lead the same size group. It's not like cookie cutter, everybody gets 10. No, some people were capable of leading large numbers of people. And some people are capable of leading medium-sized numbers of people. And some people are capable of leading small numbers of people. And some people are capable of only leading a few people. That's what he's saying. Divide these people up and put these leaders in place And he says they'll decide the smaller matter for themselves, and they'll help you carry this load, making the task easier for you. And if you follow this advice, if God commands you to do so, he says, then you will be able to endure the pressures. And all this people, check that out, next phrase out, will go home in peace. You know what he said? It'll be better for everybody. Can I tell you something? When a leader exercises his or her gift properly, it's better for everybody. The entire group. And he goes on, he says, he did this, he chose capable people, he put them in charge of these groups. And then we come down to verse 26, and these men were always available to solve the people's common disputes. They brought the major cases to Moses. They took care of the smaller ones themselves. And so Jethro had this gift. And Moses was trying to do it all by himself. And can I tell you something? In the church and in life, sometimes we are trying to do too much on our own. And we've got to have leaders who can see how the ministry, how life needs to operate. And we need to listen to their wise advice. And so the ruler, administrator, leader, he works within their God-given ability to lead, organize, and direct others who are gifted to do the work of ministry as a team or a group. Leaders will often see themselves as unimportant. They'll often see themselves as background person, but are actually the key to success of the rest of the team or ministry. But after the early service, a person said to me out in the lobby that I know very well, and that I know is a leader. I know they have this gift. And they said, I'm not that person. I said, yes, you are. You can't get away from it. You are that person. But because they are not always wanting to be out front, they see themselves as a note taker, a clerical, an organizer that works behind the scenes. And they will most of the time. But here's the reality. And this is how you can know if this is you. If you're perfectly happy in the background, taking part. But when there is no actual leadership and the progress is not being made, the goals of the group are not being reached, and you can't stand it, you've got to speak up and take charge, you're a leader. You're an administrator, you're fine to administrate behind the scenes. But if the goals aren't being accomplished and you just have to do it, it's just like your insides are churning. You're a leader. Stop saying I'm not a leader. You are a leader. God has given you the ability. Now, you may only lead 10 or 5 or 4 or 3 or 50 or 20. It does not matter how big the group is. It's what God wants you to do. And by the way, you can develop your gift and you can learn how to lead a larger group. If that's your desire. If that's the Lord's will. And so a leader tends to know the part that everyone else should play to accomplish the objective of the ministry. They have a clear picture of the overall good. And hear me very quickly. When you discover your God-given gift that you are empowered to do, you'll find yourself doing a great work of eternal value. And notice there, I put the notes in parentheses. Great is not guided by this world's ideal. Great is not about numbers. great is about the impact for the kingdom of God. Now I can tell you this whole gifting area right here, it motivates me to no end. Because I'm an encourager, but because of the role I'm in as a pastor, I'm also have to practice this gift. And I am learning more and more how to delegate and how to let others feel empowered. And that's what leaders have to learn how to do. And so today, our biblical character is Nehemiah. You're just going to have to take and read the note because there's no way I can cover it all in the next 5 minutes. Let me just hit a couple high spots. The traits of a leader, ruler, administrator. We see it in the life of Nehemiah. Nehemiah was that man who visualized the goal of what needed to be accomplished for God's people. The Bible says in chapter 1 that when he heard the condition of his people, that they were living in reproach, and there was destruction and great affliction. The people were cast down, the walls were broken down, and the gates, which was a symbol of the praise of God, they were burned in fire. He said, this just can't be. And through a time of prayer, he began to visualize what God would have him to do to make a difference. And God gave Nehemiah a passionate vision of what could happen in that situation. He had that ability. And some of you have that ability. You assess what's taking place at this church. And in your heart of hearts, you know what God wants you to do. But you for some reason, say, well, it's not my place, or I stand with you. Well, if nobody's taking charge, you should take charge. Now, I'm not saying you should assert the authority of the pastor, or you should step out of bounds, but you can make a mighty difference of eternal value when you present yourself. Say, Pastor, I think this. I believe this is what needs to take place. And if you're in agreement with that, I'd like to step into that role. Somebody did this just recently. They're so excited about stepping into a role. It's really what brought this message on today. Because I'm skipping ahead a little bit, and we'll go back and get the others. So a person who has the trait of a leadership, ruler, administration, they also have an ability to break down major goals into smaller ones, achievable tasks. A ruler is not one who says, if you want me to do a job done, you do it yourself, but it's one who believes in people and is able to accomplish far more than they ever could alone. In other words, they lead people to accomplish God's word. I got to hurry. A leader is one who has the ability to know what resources are available and are needed to reach a goal. You remember Nehemiah? After he spent his time praying about it, he went before the king, King Artaxerxes, and the king said, why are you so sad in my presence? Was like, I'll put you to death if you come into my presence sad. But Nehemiah was so overwhelmed. And so when Artaxerxes questioned him, he responded. He said, my people are living in distress and affliction, and the walls are broken down. And by the way, King, I feel like God wants me to do something about it. And you know what? I need some materials. I need some timber. And King Artaxerxes, I need you to let me go there. And by the way, would you send an army with me so that I can get there safely? Can help me carry out this task? And by the way, King, not only do I need you to let me go, not only do I need you to send an army, I need you to send to authorize some letters so that the people there will give me the materials I need. I need some timbers from your forest. And by the way, King, in all of this, will you pay for it all? Man, that guy had some brass. Can I tell you something? When God calls you to do something, if you don't believe in it enough to beg, borrow, do whatever you have to do it, you don't believe in it enough. That's the word for some of our leaders right here today. You're willing to get out there on the line for it. I'm not going to finish the sermon anyway. So let me just say, when we started the church, there was no place to live for me. There was no income for me. But God moved in such a way I knew it's what He wanted. And I knew God was going to come through. And God came through miraculously, gloriously. And this best part, I didn't worry about it. I didn't think, oh God, how are we going to live? God, how are we going to pay the power? We didn't have a power bill to pay. But God did. And so I share that with you to say, God wants you to step out and serve. God will supply. God's will will never lead you where God's will will not provide for you. Well, that's extra. I don't have time for this. But a leader has a tendency to remove themselves from distracting details in order to focus on the ultimate goal. Oh, I could just speak to that so much. Nehemiah, he didn't get involved in the little details of the job. He presented the vision. He called the people to do it. They said they've got a good mind to work. They got involved in the work. And Nehemiah, you know what he done? He done his share of spreading mortar and removing rocks. But you know what he really did? He inspired the people. He kept his eyes on the enemy. He dealt with the enemy. He dealt with the task so that they wouldn't have to, so they could do what they needed to do. That's what a leader does. A leader deals with the task. It doesn't matter if you're leading an Olympian ministry, a student ministry, a prayer ministry, a Sunday school ministry, any kind of ministry, a food ministry. A leader deals with the details so that the other people can do what God wants them to do. Amen. I'm sorry, but I'm excited about this. He removed themselves from the details that would distract him from the ultimate goal. A leader has a willingness to endure reaction from the insiders now. You see, not everybody's going to understand. Not everybody's going to be wholeheartedly in agreement. But you got to believe in it enough that you're willing to go against the flow. Even among church people sometimes. By the way, these people that went against Nehemiah, Sanballat, Tobiah, Geshem, they were respected in the community. If they weren't for the kingdom of God. A leader has a great need for loyalty. Confidence. He needs to know, or she needs to know, that the person they're serving has confidence in them, and that those who follow them have confidence and are loyal to them. By the way, I can tell you something. The best leaders are the best followers. And the best leaders are the loyal followers of others. Loyalty is the prime importance. I just got to skip through. Let me just skip down and say a word about the trouble areas. Sometimes leaders can start to view people as a means to an end. They start viewing people as a resource instead of as human beings. A leader should care. They care about accomplishing the goal, but they've got to care about the people that work with them and working for them. true in Nehemiah's story. They were struggling under this financial bondage of debt. And they were paying debt to their country. See, some of them were loaning money and exacting strong interest against their brothers. Nehemiah went there and he dealt with that situation. He said, "We can't do this. The will of God's a much bigger purpose than you getting a few bucks off the backs of your own people." And he made them take an oath that they wouldn't do this anymore. Sometimes leaders can begin to think about it's their cause. Sometimes leaders can, I think of the times I've been guilty of this, can allow those who are loyal to them not to do their part. And sometimes because somebody is really talented or they're very loyal, they will even place them in leadership areas when they've not been good fathers. If somebody's always made an excuse why they're not doing what they need to be doing, can I tell you something? They'll make a poor leader. You won't be able to lead them. You overlook serious character flaws. Sometimes leaders can be unresponsive to the suggestions of others. What that means is that they just think, you know what? I know what I'm doing. I don't need to don't listen to people who God's put around me. Sometimes they fail to show gratefulness to them. Let me wrap this up and talk about the threats. You got the notes. Please go back and read them. They're good information for you. But let's talk about the threats that the leader, ruler, administrator must deal with. The first one is in Romans. It's in our text. It says, "Let him who leads do it with diligence." Diligence. It means to be zealous about it, to be full of zeal. The word zeal means to be at a boiling point. In other words, it should calm you. It should keep you awake at night sometimes. It should wake you up in the morning sometimes because you want it so bad for the glory of God. You take the responsibility that you've been given seriously. And so there's a great threat that if we fail to do that, we will be failed. Because we do not lead or serve for the pastor or for our boss at work. I told you this applies at work as well. It applies in all of life. You do not do it just for them. You do it for the glory of God. That's what Paul said. Whatever you do it with all your mind. And so we've got to be extremely diligent, taking our responsibility seriously. And so sometimes leaders who are not leading, who are not taking their responsibility seriously, will act in the flesh. Because maybe they've been doing it a long time, and maybe because they've just gotten stale and away from God. See, your quiet time, your time with God should be of vital importance to you. Because it's what keeps you close. Friend, if you're not close, you're in danger. And so I've given you a translation there. We talked about this last couple of weeks. But those who allow themselves to be controlled by their flesh get fleshly results. But those who allow themselves to be controlled by the Spirit get spiritual results. Now, this verse does not just apply to the fact that if you live before the flesh, you're going to want drink or drugs or lust or, all those terrible things that we're talking about. It doesn't just apply to that. It applies to the church. And can I tell you, churches fall apart when leadership act according to the flesh instead of according to the Spirit. And if the leaders don't do it, nobody else will. The leaders aren't spiritually controlled, nobody else will do it. And so here we see the comparison or the contrast between the Spirit and the flesh. Somebody who is spiritually led will be orderly in what they're doing. They're conscious. But if they're fleshly controlled, they're disorganized. I mean, it's just harem scarum. Somebody that's, now I'm talking about a gift of a leader. Somebody that's spiritually controlled takes initiative. But a person who's fleshly controlled is apathetic. They're just sluggish, just, whatever. Spiritually controlled, they're responsible. But a fleshly controlled leader is unreliable. Can't count on. A spiritually controlled leader is humble. But a fleshly controlled leader is prideful. Can I tell you something? Position does not make a leader. Position will never make a leader. Passion for the glory of God is what makes a leader. Sometimes leaders can become so focused on their position. It's just pride. Spiritual leader is decisive. He or she knows what they've got to do. They know what's got to take place. But a passive, fleshly controlled leader is double-minded. They're always second-guessing. Am I doing this right? Will so-and-so like this? Well, then it's just start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. No consistency. Spirit-controlled leader is determined. But a fleshly controlled leader is faint-hearted, fearful, ununderstanding. Spirit-controlled leader is loyal, intensely loyal. But a fleshly